I'm no different than any other Japanese American person here in Los Angeles. Work as an artist, run errands, and I pay my bills, just like everyone else. But sometimes, when the day is done and the opportunity arises, I open my secret little restaurant. It's there I discover who I truly am, one dish at a time. I call that place the Shokudo. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jon Kenzo Okeya, and today we are joined by Joanne, or Jojo, right?
Yes.
And today we are going to make Kuromame. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I get to see the real, Shokudo. I've only seen it on YouTube, and I enjoy your series.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, with that said, let's get into it.
You know, I don't even know how many years old this thing is, but...
It's okay.
Okay. Well, I know that the kuromame is one of the most traditional dishes from the osechi that we eat on New Year's Day. It looks the simplest, but it's the hardest dish to make.
Why did you start making it?
Well, because no one else wanted to. No, because I guess because I was the one that was into cooking the most, and you know, when you're up to a challenge, you know, you think, okay, I'm gonna tackle this one.
Right.
And to be honest, I've done it 15 years. I was counting the other day, and yet, even this year, I learned stuff.
You said you learned this recipe from your mom?
Yes. This recipe was given to me by my mom, and this recipe is an 8-hour, cooking process.
That's a lot.
Yes,
Jeez.
I know. We are using the Nijiya brand Tamba Kuromame. Tamba is an area right outside of Kyoto, which is famous throughout Japan for their kuromame. Okay, we'll be rinsing the beans because we want to get off any residue of any kind with cold water. Yeah. But see how it bubbles up?
Yeah.
Now, and then the better you rinse it, now the less foam. That's why I didn't have any foam.
It's got to be thorough.
Yes, just thoroughly rinse it. But instead of going like this, because with rice you have your hand in there.
Right.
But that bruises the skin and it causes the skin to break later. See, all the bubbles are gone.
Yeah, I see it. It disappeared.
See? Mm-hmm. Right? So now it just, okay, good.
The Shokudo originally was supposed to be his office, his safe space, and then Luke and I came and we took it.
So the search for, I have two goals in my life ever since Luke and Michael came into my life. One is the search for a private office because it seems like that I can't get that. And two is to make a cup of coffee that is a normal cup of coffee because I've yet to impress these guys with a regular cup of coffee.
There's a mysterious
metallic kind of undertone.
What coffee beans are you using? What instruments are you using?
He uses a bunch of different types of beans, but it always has the same underlying flavor to it.
About $100 worth of new coffee equipment. Been taught by James, which is coffee master himself, and still I was like, okay,
the first cup that he made after that.
Yeah, I was like, here you guys go, and they sipped it, and they're like, it still has that taste. I'm like, gosh, dang, it must be maybe the madness of the house. It's just infused into the coffee. I don't know.
We will shut down the Shokudo series when John finally reaches the goal.
When the curse is lifted.
Yeah. The quest continues.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Japanese culture. I learned to love it through anime, and I learned to cook Japanese food. But when it comes to Japanese American, nothing. Like, I grew up on the weeb level of knowing Japanese stuff.
So true, same.
Oh, okay, good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, anime, manga, and like some Japanese music in high school.
Nice.
But then I had some friends who were kind of like, oh, you're only half. Why do you like these things? And I was kind of questioning, like, why does that matter?
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was in college and joined like a Nikkei student union where people are just like, oh yeah, we're all just here to hang out, and like we all have different types of identities, and I was like, validated.
People. That's awesome. Yeah.
And that's when I entered into community and started volunteering in Little Tokyo and everything.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Oh, really?
I just feel
thought
like you
you've
were
always
always.
been-
Yeah, I think you. I
Yeah.
thought you were born and
No,
raised in
somehow
community.
I avoided all of the like J activities despite living in Torrance. I
Torrance.
played soccer, I didn't do basketball, did Girl Scouts, but wasn't in like a Japanese American Girl Scout troop, didn't do taiko or anything, so somehow I just like dodged all of it, and then
And then,
it happened.
And then they finally got you.
And then-
Yeah.
now you're never leaving.
Yeah, where'd you
Yeah.
Yeah. So where did I come
Yeah, who
from?
are you?
Well, I don't know. You kind of really just came out of nowhere to me.
I did. Yeah, so I actually did not grow up in community. I'm half Japanese, half Mexican American. Grew up in a military family, so and
wow.
I'm Shinnikke. So my mom is from Japan, born and raised. So I was really born into like the Japanese culture. I did not get introduced into the Japanese American community until 2018. I did the Queens program up in NorCal. So I was on the 2018 court and never thought I would be on a court like that because I was like, I am not someone who wears a crown. I'm not someone who likes pageanty things. But I learned it was not a pageant really. It was an entry point into community, and also I had never learned this history. In the 3 high schools that I went to, it was not taught in one history class about incarceration, about Japanese migration, and so that just blew my mind and opened my eyes into community and all the different things that I could do. I decided to continue staying involved, getting involved, and here I am working in community now. So it's
That's
cool.
awesome. Like hearing these
Yeah.
stories, it makes me so happy because like I've never experienced that level of like Japanese American community. I didn't do basketball, so when I hear about these experiences, I'm like, oh, that's so nice that people are having these like warm, like happy, good experiences. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So
And I guess it's nice that you don't have to be like a kid or like you don't have to like really grow up in the community. You can enter at any point in life, which I really love. So
Oh, that's wonderful.
Why is this the episode
yes.
Oh.
center?
Oh, that's a good way to
Yeah.
get into it.
What brought up Kuromame? Because I feel like that is not usually the dish that someone thinks about.
Yes.
Hence why it's in a can or a package. Like you don't think about it. You're just like, oh yeah, I just gotta rip it open and
symbol.
dump it out.
Yeah. First of all, before I answer that, thank you for your thoughtful, simple transition into the subject matter. A lot of the times, I'm trying to think of the transition. Like, yeah, that was a really nice thing you said about that. Well, it's time to talk about beans.
Yeah.
It's bean time.
So yeah, it's bean time.
It's bean time. It's, but I think Kuromame was one of the few things that, out of the osechi ryori like dishes, it was like one of the few things that actually like had like a meaning explained to me, in that we were supposed to eat the number of beans as how many years old we were that year. So yeah,
Same.
I didn't really understand why, and when I was younger, I didn't like these beans.
Same.
Now that I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, these beans are good. Yeah.
Good beans.
So then I thought we should look more into it, and I wanted to see who else heard about all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I was given the instructions, but never the reason.
Right.
And it wasn't until I started volunteering with Kizuna and teaching an osechi workshop, and I was like, oh, that's why we're doing all these things, and that's the reason. And then I ended up like making a whole PowerPoint to bring to my family, because I was like, y'all always have questions as to why we're doing this. Here's your obligation to eat all of these things, and this is why we eat it.
So what was the kuromame?
Mame means health.
Japanese always do plays on words. Beans is mame,
Yeah.
right? So kuro is black, mame, black beans. But when Japanese speak their colloquial language, it also means to be well. To be mame means that you want health.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
That's the reason why it's kind of symbolic, and that's the reason why also people say, oh, you're supposed to eat your age of black beans.
It's connected to your age that you want to keep living healthy years. So
Makes sense in retrospect.
yeah, right. But like that was never explained to us. It was just kind of like you're doing as you're told.
Yes.
So
Yes.
When I was younger, they used to tell me I had to eat one bean for each year of my life.
Oh.
But we would always think, oh, okay, and that's how the adults got the young kids to eat it. But you know, after we got to 20 and we thought, oh my gosh, you have to eat 20 beans. Then we turned around and our parents were like 50 and we thought, we don't see them eating 50 beans. So what's with that rule, or
Hey.
who came up with that? At the brink of having our boiling water. 6 cups. Yes, that's hot enough. We will add the sugar. So
Ooh.
this is 1 cup and 1/4 sugar.
Wow, it's like making a dessert, really.
Yep, with the sugar.
With all
yeah.
the sugar.
Yep.
Stir time. All right.
Now for the soy sauce. And this is just to make our like marinade. It's better to put it in when it's hot, boiling hot.
When it's boiling.
Because then you'll get less wrinkles. It said, yes.
Oh.
I used to think it was wrinkles because I did something wrong.
Okay, here we go. Oops.
And you keep it like that overnight.
Oh, I see.
See?
So you're stopping the cooking process.
Right.
Ah, I see.
So after this sits overnight, like this, you cover it and you put it to the side overnight. Then the next day, you start boiling it.
I see.
I guess I will mention now that you could put a rusty nail in there.
You're supposed to put
Yeah.
like a chunk of iron into the water.
Oh, really?
And, that's originally what gave it its black color.
But like the beans themselves are black.
Yeah, they
The
are.
dried beans
well,
are black.
They became black and they changed color depending on. I remember because we were opening Tupperwares and you're like, oh, that one came out not as black as this one. So
yeah, hers were red.
Interesting.
Oh.
red, yeah, they red.
Interesting.
I know, you wouldn't think that the black color would disappear or come off the beans, but it actually does. They turn kind of reddish. I just done this many years, but I just was not brave enough to take that step.
I mean, that is a brave move. That is bold.
So this is the day after we soaked the beans overnight. We put it up to a boil, meaning that we're boiling it, okay, on low heat. And this is the beginning of the 8 hours. It comes out of the pot red after the first day. I just cooked it today and it comes out a little red. But because of the soy sauce in the sauce, if you let it sit for 2 to 3 days in the soy sauce, it will turn black like this one.
When we eat it, they're like jet black.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
deep,
Yeah,
shiny
yeah,
black.
Yeah. Well, they probably put some kind of iron oxide or that,
Right.
yeah, tin oxide out of the rust.
affects the taste though.
That's what I wonder.
I'm sure it does.
See,
Yeah,
that's why
somehow.
I kind of
'Cause,
wonder.
yeah,
Oh, the
the-
taste is.
yeah,
Tell me
I
if
mean-
it tastes more natural than metallic. I know.
Yeah.
Then eating a rusty nail.
Yeah.
Tastes like rusty nails.
Oh yeah.
See, is it more natural or less?
Yeah, this is definitely has. It's more like eating a bean.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Whereas I feel like the other one, there's like a hint of sweetness, but yeah, it's very. There's something like unnatural about it.
Oh,
But this
okay.
seems very
See,
nice.
I told you, I like things natural.
Well, to be fair, the one we grew up with was from the can, and
Yeah, yeah.
we're
I
not
was just
using
gonna ask
fancy.
you.
We don't use the fancy beans that you have here, so.
Yeah.
This one's called J Basket.
Please don't cut your finger. They're so little.
Smaller.
Yeah.
I'm
so
just shocked. I've
never
never
seen-
seen a canned kuromame. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Experiences abound.
Cheers.
嗯
Cheers.
乾杯.
嗯
Cheers.
So this is the flavor that I associate with Kuromame and New Year's.
It's very sugar forward.
It's very candy.
Yeah, it's
I
like
get candy.
yes.
Yeah. The next one is shirakiku, right? Shirakiku.
You sound like the announcement at the train stations when they're
yeah.
saying what station is next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mamonaku. Shirakiku. Mamonaku. Shirakiku.
Kuromame. Kuromame.
Let's go.
Bye.
This one has a give more than the other one. The other one was just like putty.
I think I like this texture, like you were saying.
Yeah,
Better.
right?
Like a bean feel.
Like a bean.
Yeah, this
feel.
one definitely.
That one's more of
melts
like
away.
a
Yeah.
mashed bean feel.
Yeah, really, yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't really have a texture.
Tamba kuromame. This one is from Okinawa Prefecture because it has the Okinawan brown sugar that they're very famous for. So it might have a little bit of a different flavor. So we shall see.
These look like boba. These are
They
huge.
do look
Yeah,
like
They
boba.
do,
Oh my
yeah. The
gosh.
shininess.
This is two beans
Forever
in one.
changed for
And
me.
there is like Okinawa milk tea too.
Yes,
It's like
yes,
the
yes.
same
Oh
way.
no.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well,
All right.
Let's go.
Cheers.
cheers.
Whoa.
This is the bean that I know.
This is a bean.
This is a bean.
This has like a, this has a beanier taste and it is as soft as the other one.
Yeah,
This is
it
very
is.
mashed potatoy soft. Interesting.
Much more savory.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I was like, these are sweet.
Yeah.
Really, really sweet.
That's what the ones that my friend's mom makes like taste more like. Although the texture is more like like kind of like edamame. Like I like that flavor more. Yeah.
Honestly, I do too. That's really good.
Am I converting everyone? Yay!
The brown sugar almost makes it yummy.
Yeah, yummy. That's what it tastes and textures yummy. Yes.
You can taste a lot more bean here than in here. And then this one, you don't taste any bean at all. It's just sweetness.
Which is funny for it to be about like health with all of the
I know.
That's why you should make it at home, kids.
What compelled you to start making things from scratch rather than how your grandpa or how it was passed down originally?
It was literally just that I was having this conversation with my friend of how I don't like kuromame, and he was like, the way that my mom makes it, it's so good, what are you talking about? And I was like, you can make it? I thought they were just born in a can. And I like went up to visit their family, and his mom had like saved some, and so then I tried it, and I was like, I've been wrong. This whole time, I've been wrong. So I had that experience, but if we can make it fresh and it tastes better fresh, then I want to try doing that. So that's kind of why my family made the shift. And it was actually not that my family made the shift, it's that I decided it for everybody. So here we are.
No, but that's it actually goes really well with what we're like talking about here is like the traditions that we grew up with. Are maybe not the most tradition like Japanese traditional, and so like to make it from scratch and stuff is like it's almost like you're starting like your own new thing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's nice to feel that like, no, I am actually making decisions
Mm-hmm.
with how I am learning how to cook this and how I am adapting and adjusting to all these things. We are not kind of like at the whims of traditions, but we are like making them our own, and I think that's very, very important moving forward so that we don't feel like resentful of tradition too. You know, you don't want to feel like you're super restricted. You want to feel like it's your own in some way.
Yeah.
Then we also saw Jay stick of rusty
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah. It looked like a rusty taiyaki, but like a small one. And she was like, in it goes. And I'm like, are you sure? Yeah.
I can't wait for this episode.
And the soaking too. Don't forget to put the iron into the soaking water because that helps to help get that black color. Okay, so we put this in there. You want to gently put the beans in here?
Sure.
There you go.
Why does he have to be careful?
Because you don't want to tear the skin off of the beans.
Oh, I see. All right, John, go slow. Do not shake. Just be gentle. Okay. Alrighty. I'd like to think I'm a gentle person. Okay.
There you go. Yep. Now go ahead and let's turn this burner on.
Wow.
We're going to save the oshoyu till the end.
Okay.
But go ahead and put your sugar in. Yep. And then you throw a little dash of salt in.
Ooh, okay. I'll
Maybe
do
a
that.
teaspoon and a half or so. Now here's another trick that my mom used to do. I didn't want to make this complicated, so I didn't put it into the soaking beans. But another thing that Japanese do is to soak it in kombu. You know the Dutch kombu?
yeah.
You put the kombu in here and you let it cook, and it get all the gelatinous kind of texture of the kombu comes off, and it also intensifies the.
Cool. Okay, next time we do this, we got to do that because that sounds like fun.
We could do it right now. We could put a piece of kombu in there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
We can.
I'm down.
So all you have to do is put a little piece of kombu.
Wow.
This is going to turn into a big sheet like this, but let's stick this in there. Okay, see how that foam is coming? Mm-hmm. So now you use a very fine mesh strainer and pull this up like that. You want to do that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I always try to scoop, but I didn't know you can. Oh, okay, that makes total sense. I've learned, like, since coming here, I've learned like 4 things already. It's amazing.
That's funny.
I have to learn a lot from you. This is super cool.
You see how it's just bubbling around like this? And this is good. You want to simmer it, but in Japanese simmering, you don't want the vegetables to roll around and move around, and it intensifies the flavor. If you put weight on it, just gentle weight to keep the flavor to really saturate into your dish. So you just let it do that.
That's why it's called a drop lid.
Right.
I didn't know that. That's, of course.
So during the course of this cooking process, you're going to want to have a little tasting spoon nearby so that you could just, give yourself a little. Okay, I'm going to have you taste this because I want you to know what it started off tasting like.
Oh,
and
okay.
You're definitely going to have a different flavor than this one that does not have kombu in it.
Okay, so I get to try it.
Here you go.
Okay.
And you'll see how sweet it is, but it's quite shallow. The thickness is, it's very thin yet.
I never thought I'd be drinking this. Okay.
Do you taste the kombu?
Yes, I do. It's interesting because I never thought I'd be tasting kombu with a sweet. So I'm just like, whoa, that's different.
That's the reason why you take the shoyu at the end, because you really want to figure out what this is tasting like from the sugar ratio, sugar to salt ratio.
Oh, I see.
And then that flavor is a lot more vibrant when you finish cooking the beans and you're going to just give it the last kind of swirl and finish.
I see.
With the final taste is when you put the shoyu in.
That makes total sense. You don't want to make it too overly complicated in the beginning of the process so that you can taste it and figure it out.
And you don't want to get it overly salty. Because you're cooking it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So then you're going to get all that shoyu into the beans.
Oh, I see, I see.
It's only really to flavor the sauce.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So something that has always been a familiar dish on Japanese American oshogatsu tables has been this kuromame. The kinds of foods that have evolved over time since Issei pioneers came at the turn of the last century. One of the things that I think stay true to its flavor is the simple black bean, because it's just cooked in sugar, and you throw a little bit of shoyu on it, a little pinch of salt, and it is really, that has been the traditional recipe all these years.
That's true, huh? That the simpler it is, the more I feel like you can trace back to its origin, you know, because the ingredients are so simple.
Exactly.
Wow, that's cool. I never thought about it like that.
As I'm newer to the community, I still sometimes have to take a moment to question, like, am I JA enough? Am I Japanese enough? Especially being half, right? And not having the Japanese last name. Also with a lot of the programming historically with some of the Japanese American orgs, you know, there's either quantum blood requirement or, you know, there's some kind
like
of...
Queen program, was there a blood?
Yes, there...
Is it 50% in LA?
Well,
Yeah,
in LA is 50. In SF we just passed to, or last year we've officially moved it to 25%. But even that concept alone kind of feels icky to me because you have so many diverse immigrants even within Japan that we don't talk about, like the Zainichi, Korean American, you know, Japanese folks, or you know, just immigrants from other parts of Asia who go to Japan for refuge, like. They're Japanese by culture, right? So, you know, I'm curious what you guys think of, like, how do you define what makes you JA or Japanese?
I always think back because in college I took, you know, Asian Am too, and I had like this huge argument with this guy in the class because he's I guess Shinike, and he was like dead set on saying like, oh, Japanese culture is like his dad was a sushi chef and his mom was like a Japanese language school teacher. And so he was like, you're not Japanese if you don't know how to make the Japanese food and you don't speak the language.
Oh snap.
And I was like,
Dunk on him, Michael. Get him. Get him.
That's so interesting.
the way my perspective is like the what makes me Japanese is like the values.
Yes.
Because if my Japaneseness was based on me being able to make Japanese food or speak the language, then I'm not Japanese at all. And I just, that didn't feel right either, you know.
And like, what a weird thing to gatekeep.
Yeah, but I mean, I
Why?
could see his perspective if, you know, that's how he grew up. He grew up with his being in a very, and he grew up in Texas, so I'm sure being somewhat isolated, I don't know where exactly he grew up, but like being kind of isolated like that, holding desperately onto these very Japanese things is probably very important. And for me, having grown up in like Torrance area, where, and just in California in general, where we can appreciate kind of the nuances.
Yeah, if you're watching this, whoever you are, Michael just called you desperate.
Oh no!
I'm extracting.
All right, cut that out.
You know, I think one of the things growing up, I always found it fascinating that Japanese Americans didn't speak Japanese. I thought all Japanese and Japanese Americans were alike, and you would speak Japanese, but then I made that connection of like the history. But one of the things that always stuck out was that "okage-sama de," that phrase is something that has been passed down, right? Because of you, we are. And so I love that, and I know we use it at Broke a lot. But even in community, like that form of gratitude just exists in the air, and I really like that a lot. Yeah.
That's amazing. This is where, like, this is the hope is for like the Shokudo, is that somebody one generation or two generations can like watch the show and then see this episode where you guys are expressing so much gratefulness. They're like, why are they so grateful for that? What do I have to be grateful for? Oh God, what do I have to be grateful for? And they go back and then they find out their stories and they're like, nice. So it's
They find out my grandpa was an illustrator.
Yeah.
That's why I can do art now.
Yeah. That's
so
that's
cool.
awesome. So what you guys are saying right now, it's like really like, this is fantastic.
Okage-sama de, it means I am who I am
gonna take another bean.
Okay, I kind of actually want to try the chestnut.
Try the chestnut.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know which chestnut you want.
I will eat. We're not here to be picky.
All right.
We're here to have the experience. Oh, she's slippery.
You gotta take the whole bowl.
Don't look at me.
Oh, you got it.
I think one of the things that we kind of like talking about here with like Jon, having kind of grown up.
Sorry. I'm like watching your reaction of eating the kuri. It's so funny. She's like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know if the kuri's meant to be eaten. I feel like.
You waited until after
Well,
she
no.
died?
I'm like thinking about it now. Like my
So
family never. My mom eats it, but she's weird, so I don't know. My grandmother and like all my other relatives never eat the kuri, so I don't know if it's more of decor or.
It just tasted very metallic. Like, is this what your coffee tastes like?
Wow, way to throw that in there.
hold on a second. What just happened?
Was caught on camera.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you so much.
No problem. And that's it for today's episode of the Shokudo.
And
For
we are
all
fired.
Shokudo episodes.
Yeah.
You
That's
got
it.
us fired.
You'll always see something colored gold.
Yeah.
And so many people put in chestnut. You remember the kuri?
Yes,
chestnut
yes, yes.
is yellow. The meat is yellow. And so they'll stir it into here.
Oh, okay.
It's to signify some opulence and prosperity.
Ooh,
Right?
okay.
But there's also gold dust.
Cool.
I like to actually use tweezers
Wow.
and drop them strategically on top for decoration. Okay, let's taste it.
I'll let Jane taste it. I have to
Okay.
react.
It's better than New Year's one. It's
Really?
better than this. Oh, this is heaven. No, this one is still better. The kombu one has got a deeper flavor, I think.
I feel like that one is like syrup and sweetness, where this one has a better balance.
And these are both the exact same bean.
This one's really good. I will accept nothing else in my oshogatsus than this one. Anything else is inferior.
You know, for our great-grandparents and grandparents, continuing this tradition to eat black beans was important to them because it's a humble dish. If you really think about what it is, it's just dried black beans.
Yeah.
Even though it's humble and simple to make, it was time-consuming. So a canned black bean saved a lot of work, but it was so important not to miss that dish that they would insist on even having it from a can.
Yeah, yeah.
I almost see this can as like a symbolism of the preservation of the Japanese culture, given the history of Japanese Americans in this country. And there's a great deal of power to that, right? This is our ancestors' ways of kind of helping us to perpetuate the culture in the best way possible. I think osechi sometimes is a lot of seafood and all this other stuff that probably was really hard to get back in the day, right? And it still is here in the US, at least, if you're not in Japan. And so this was one of the few things that kind of made the cut and was able to be preserved literally and figuratively throughout the generations. So I love seeing the can. Like, I almost want to buy the can in honor of the ancestors who like made it possible for this to be even here today before mass production and like import export was like more accessible, right? But
A lot of us pride ourselves on like making things from scratch and stuff like that. So to view this as like this is one of the ways that we can preserve our culture, so that like the masses can enjoy it and appreciate it as well. I think that's
it's a can of resilience in so many ways, right? Like,
I never grew up with this. You know, when every New Year, I never had like an osechi. I've never,
done any of the cultural things that a lot of my JA friends have done. But going through the process tonight, you know, and seeing like how much love and attention that you put into this one little side dish, it's become really special to me to be able to go through the process with you.
Well, thank you. I hope I was able to, because we did say one day that, gee, 10 years from now, you're not going to see all this osechi. But that would really be kind of sad, because throughout the year, you might be able to eat some of the other wontons or whatever. But the osechi is something that we only eat once a year at New Year's time. We want all of you, everybody, to enjoy the dish and New Year's osechi.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Emiko and Maya, for coming to the Shokudo and talking about Kuromame and the community. And thanks, John, for making this our osechi in June.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
No problem.
thank you both. Thank you all for having us. Yeah, it's such a privilege. I'm really excited for all the great work that you guys do. So,ごちそうさまでした.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. Yay. Awesome. All right, we're good. Woo!
Hey, we did it.
Let's get it.
Thank you
This
so
was
much.
so awesome. Seriously, this was
It means I am who I am because of you.
Wow, this is the first Shokudo episode where we have finished a salad.
Yay!
The other ones, no one's touched the salad. Yeah, I made it, and I'm like,
John, we gotta have salad. And every time he brings it out, no one eats it.
like I said, it's not a priority in my life.
As you watch the episode, all the other food is getting eaten, but we just stay.
You guys are making community sound so good. I'm just like, why haven't I joined anything or done anything? I'm like, man, I need to do something.
You're doing this.
Or I'll just
Yeah.
This is a huge part of community. You're bringing community
You don't have to
together,
do
of
what we
course.
do. You do what you want to do.
I like that. Okay, I'm gonna do this then.